Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Oh, we did it backwards. And I'm Tracey.
And we're my
Outlander.
Purgatory.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone's week going? I feel already topsy-turvy because we did it opposite. Sometimes they say you have to do things like that, like things you normally do them like in the opposite way because it like exercises your brain.
Yes, well, I'm just in the mood to jump right in, so here I am.
What are you drinking this evening? Shot a margarita. When are you gonna change it up?
Well, excuse me, you made fun of me talking about red wine last week, and now you're drinking red wine.
How did you know that? I haven't shown it yet. Yes, I am drinking red wine out of the Lollybrock glass. The Lollybrock.
Lollybrock.
Oh, Lollybrock. We shouldn't repeat things that we've done before, but it's kind of funny. I have to think of a different, like what we could call the Randinelli homestead. There really isn't one anymore, but this is actually an Italian wine, Cantus.
It's a dessert wine.
It's a Sangiovese. I got this from probably almost a year ago. I ordered a case from like that Heartwood and something or other, Heartwood and Oak. It's some wine emporium that you get cheap wines from. I did. It's all good. It's all good, bro.
All good.
It's all good.
Here's my notes.
Oh
Ready
my
to rock
gosh,
and roll.
I have not made you little yet. Hold on. All right, that's better. So do you want to start off tonight with a general, like 1 to 10, what you thought of this episode, or should we just kind of?
Just kind of.
Just kind of? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We can't be doing any more 1 hour 45-minute videos.
People seem to like the 1 hour 45-minute videos.
Except for the people who don't.
Except for I don't know. That is one thing I want to say before we start. This week, doesn't it feel like this week we got like more comments than we've ever gotten?
I love it.
I feel like, I mean, if I could show you my phone right now, and I will, just because I can, I still have comments today that I haven't gotten to yet because they just keep coming and coming and coming, and they're so great. Like, everybody's respectful. We don't have anyone to make fun of this week because everyone was really nice and positive.
Oh, you mean in the comments?
Oh,
I thought you meant on the show.
No, on the show. We always have
Do you
stuff
have
to make
fruit
fun
flies? I have fruit flies.
No, you're leaving like too much garbage out. Or,
Yeah,
like,
I don't have any
stuff.
garbage out.
Are you leaving like, are you putting like the last of the summer crops in a nice bowl because it looks pretty, but really
No,
there's a soft spot in the tomato and it's drying them all?
And I made banana bread so I could get rid of any old bananas. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but I keep having fruit flies.
Yeah, that usually means that you've got like some garbage around that
Something.
they like to eat
Potatoes rotting. I don't know. I can't.
It's gross. So if Carol like spends the night going, or we're like into a big discussion and she just goes, that's why.
See, now you have me all freaked out about the garbage.
She's a little like, yeah. What, now you're going to go check the garbage?
Make sure to close it all the way.
Okay. But anyway, yeah, no, like really good comments this week, you guys. Really like positive, good debate, good discussion. We definitely have our spectrum of people who Frank this, Frank that, blah blah blah, blah blah blah. There was a lot to say about last week, and I don't think it's a coincidence that it took us an hour and 45 minutes because of the number of comments we're getting.
Right. Okay. Number one. I have not been able to finish all the comments on the blog, myoutlanderpurgatory.com. I haven't even gotten to all of them yet. Number two, I haven't been able to respond to all of them, and we're already on episode 4. Number two, what did you just say about comments and about all of the no making fun of anyone and...
No, we didn't get made fun of this week by anybody on social media. So no, because when people are we said last week, when people are, rude on the comments or perhaps not positive in the, spreading the purgatory positivity, you might hear about it next week. But there's nothing to say. There's nothing to talk about because everyone
Purgatory
positivity.
We call that
PP. The other thing we call PP is when right before we do the videos, Carol and I primp and pour.
Oh my
And
God, I
that's
didn't
also
crimp
PP.
enough. Do I even have an eyebrow?
All right.
What the hell?
Okay. All right.
Guys, who has, can we do a poll about Botox this week? Who has it? And
have you ever gotten Botox?
no, but I want it. I'm sorry. I can't take this anymore.
It kind of scares me. I want an eye
The
job.
11 bugs me. I just want to talk to you guys like this. And how about a little lifestyle lift too?
So this is why we have to
Good
do
night.
a podcast about like stuff that's not
We-
Outlander.
Ian says good night. And let me tell you guys really quick my little story from Ian today, who had a substitute teacher who everybody knows at his school, Mrs. Lightbody. And Mrs. Lightbody, apparently, everybody knows she's a big Abraham Lincoln fan. But today she was in his classroom talking about fairies. There was something about fairies in reading. And she said, oh, and I love the fairies because they remind me of my favorite show,
Outlander.
And Ian, his head is exploding. And I'm like, did you tell her? Did you tell her? He's like, I was going to, but then I forgot. I'm like,
I just think it's a little suspicious that she's talking about Outlander to a class of like 7th graders, but like there's that, you know?
She didn't. She just mentioned it. She just said, oh, it reminds me of my favorite show. P.S. You guys, it's later in the evening, having a glass of wine. No spring chicken. The jacket's going to go on. Come on. Go on. Come on. Okay? Little hormonal.
Oh, yeah. Been there. Disrobed that. Yeah, it's all good. All right. Let's get into it.
One more thing. From last week, I have residuals. Like my neighbor, Teresa, you know Teresa.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, my neighbor, Teresa, watches the show. She didn't read the books. She's much more of a visual person. So you do not think like, oh, please, she can't handle the books. Trust me. She's like Miss go to the library and rent the recent French film with the subtitles girl. Like she just loves, she has to have the visual. So she called me the other day and said, you know, I felt really bad for Frank in this episode. Poor Frank. Claire was being such a bitch. And I was like, hold me back. Even though I too felt bad for Frank in episode 3. Mm-hmm. But like it just made me realize that's the character, the story. I mean, it just changed. There was no there was no deal. There was no, she felt bad.
I didn't like the deal.
She thought Claire was being mean. I was like,
So did I.
I was like, no, because this isn't the way it was. They had a perfectly fine marriage. My life goes along as it should. It's all very nice, but not very good. That was their marriage. They had a plain old marriage where they were respectful of each other. And no, they might not have been head over heels, but they had marital relations. You know what I mean? So in that sense, it was totally different. And I'm not going to, obviously, we hashed and rehashed, but you know, this is what non-book readers are thinking. Claire's a big old bitch and poor Frank. And I'm like, okay, done. Thank you. Let's move on.
I mean, I just need 15 seconds here. Yeah, I mean, I get everything you say. I think I understand why things are different. Like it doesn't bother me that things are different because I think for a TV audience, maybe it needs, they felt they needed to make it a little clearer. I mean, in the book, it's very squishy, Diana herself has said, well, I never said that he cheated, there's not real evidence to that. I mean, I think that there is, and other people think that there is, but it's just kind of open to interpretation in the book. And that's fine because it's a book. I think the TV medium is maybe demands a little more, exactivity, black and whiteness.
You know what? Maybe it wouldn't bother me so much if it was modern day. But I think I felt like, I'm not saying there weren't open marriages in this. I just
don't think they would have had one. No, I completely agree with you. It's just a little weird. But then again, it was the 60s, so, maybe that was the groovy thing to do.
The 50s. When did he die?
68, 67, something like that.
Oh. All right, anyway.
Okay. Oh, that was very modern then if they were doing that in the 50s. Okay. Episode 304. The title is Of Lost Things. There's a lot that's lost in this episode. And I'm every time I actually say the title on these videos, all this stuff hits me, like the St. Anthony statue, which just hit me right now at the very end when Jamie is praying to the statue of St. Anthony.
I love
St.
St. Anthony.
Of what? Lost things.
Right.
Pat's R would say, oh, you lost blah, blah, blah. Pray to St. Anthony to find it. Yes. So.
Or you pray to Clarence for parking spots at the mall. Remember Aunt Gnome's father? He was the patron saint of parking spots at the mall.
That's true. That's true.
Squirrel.
Just a lot of people lost. We're constantly reminded of what Jamie lost. We're constantly reminded of what Claire lost.
Right.
But Geneva, what she lost, what the Dunsany family lost, what Lord John has lost, blah blah blah.
Right.
It's good title. And
yes.
I never think to look to see whether they're actual titles that Diana put in the book. So I don't know if there's that. Writers, Tony Graffia, always one of our favorites. Always a delight to see that she's written an episode. Director is that Brendan Maher, who's doing a bang-up job this season. He's done like 3 of the 4. How much did you love the Easter egg?
Oh my! It started.
God.
I have already crying before the show because of the snake.
Yes,
One
of the best Easter eggs. It's back to the more traditional Easter egg of where you might not know what it means until the very end. A lot of them lately have been very kind of self-evident. If you know the books or if you kind of remembered from past seasons, you will know that the little sneak was something that Jamie's brother Willie carved for him.
I thought the snake was smaller.
So did I, actually. Yeah, that was a pretty big snake. I thought it was like that big. But yes, it was very poignant, and I knew, boy, this was going to be a good one. So we start off in Scotland, 1968, pretty much back to where we were last season, and we open on Carrie Matheson, who's clearly off her meds again, and she's accompanied by John Nash, off his meds too. And they've set up one of their typical walls of crazy, as we like to say. As we like to say in the, the crazy collage. But I prefer the wall of crazy because...
Or the wall of NCIS.
Oh, okay. I don't watch that, but maybe they do that on that show too.
I don't either.
But normally when you see a wall of crazy like that, it means somebody is off their meds, and watch out.
I am about to solve this fucking thing.
But in this case, no. It's just Claire and Bree and Roger looking up everything that they can look up about Jamie, and they've got it all pinned up to the
right
corkboard of the wall or whatever.
The corkboard of life.
Yes, the wall of crazy. Trying to crack the case. They're looking for things. They're looking for this. They're looking for that. I have to interject. One thing I noticed is Claire's sweater, and even in present day, she's so good with the knitwear. She's got the best knitwear, like whether she's back then or here. It's amazing. So I didn't write it down, but I think that this is where.
Damn you, woman, in your knitwear.
I know, right? We get the return of Fiona.
I love Fiona.
We saw Fiona a wee bit in last season. But she shows up again, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to know that she's hot for Raj.
She's digging on Raj, and she wants him to put a little meat on his bones.
Right, and put a little ring on her finger. And
why did I just break out into Philadelphian? A little meat on his bones.
A ring on her finger. I mean, why not? Because as we decided last season, Raj is just cute as a button and dreamy.
He is.
So we discover, amongst the wall of crazy, that Jamie...
Oh, yes.
...was found at Ardsmuir. And he was in Ardsmuir in 1754, in 1755, and the
Yeah.
prison closes in 1756. So we know his whereabouts as of 1756. What were you going to say?
I was going to say that as they're going through that book, and it's like 1754 or 17, and Claire's kind of like, I found him. And I'm like, oh my God, it's all hitting me. Like the gravity that he was in jail for a year and another year and another year. And I left him there. And I'm just sitting there like, how is she not rocking back and forth in the corner trying to find a happy place?
Well, but the thing is, I mean, isn't that better than he was dead for a year, and then he was dead for another year, and then he was dead for like a lot more years?
I don't know that it is. I mean, she knows what a prison in that time was like.
Huh.
You know, she's thinking of, my God, how am I forgetting it?
I don't know I don't know what you're forgetting.
Wentworth.
Oh, Wentworth.
She's probably thinking of like a Wentworth. You know what I mean? Like she knows what prison was like back then, and now she knows Jamie was in a prison all these years. Are you kidding me? I'd be like,
well, I mean, like subconsciously, she probably knew that if by some miracle they found him, you know, it wasn't like he's like, you know, walked off the battle at Culloden and like is eating crumpets at Lollybrock now.
Yeah, but
she's like, she knew what happened to the Scots afterward.
True, but at this point, okay, I'm sorry. Let my dog wants to come in, and nobody's in here to continue, please.
I mean, she's not hearing this argument, but like, I would think that. Oh wait, let's talk back. I mean, she doesn't know what happened to Blackjack, so you know there could be that for all she knows. I would worry a lot more about that.
All I know is, at this point, she doesn't know what happened to him. So for all she knows, he died in jail. She doesn't know now.
Well, no, she knows. She knows that all the prisoners were released in 1756.
But she doesn't know exactly, and she also doesn't know that he was one of them. She just I'm not. This isn't a big, heavy thought process here. Mm. This is just me, and this is what happens to me visually. You know, yes, I read and. You know, I'm the first one to say that I always like my thoughts, what the mind conjures up is always, to me, more interesting. But at the same time, seeing it on the screen makes you go places in your mind that you might not have gone before. So I am thinking about Claire, thinking about Jamie rotting in a jail cell. And I'm just, how is she sitting there like, yay, we found him?
Does she know about the cave? Does she know? I forget. Did they know that he was the Dunbonnet? I know Dunbonnet was on the wall of Crazy. I saw it.
Yes, they mentioned that.
Okay. Okay. So we go back to the past, and we see the carriage arriving at Downton Abbey.
Oh my God. Is this the Dunsanys or Downton? Oh my God, it was exactly like Downton. I was like, Mr. Bates, where are you?
Bates, you all right? Perfectly, my lord.
Somebody I don't even remember what's the name of the butler? I don't even remember anymore. Oh my God. Oh, how...
I didn't say him. I can't remember.
Because he would be the one greeting them. You know, I don't even remember any of their names anymore.
Get out here and greet Lady Mary. And Lady Mary, I mean Geneva.
Oh, all right. Well, let's talk about Geneva. So the Dunsanys come back, and their entourage, or their, not entourage, but servant quarter, I guess, is like it puts Downton Abbey to shame. I mean, Lady Mary would be salivating over that crew. It just seemed like they just went on for days and days and days and days and days. And out walks Lady Geneva and Lady Isabel and Mama Dunsany. I don't remember her name. So backstory. So we need to welcome both of those actresses. I'm not remembering Lady Isabel's name. I'm sorry. But Lady Geneva's name we know very well. Her name is Hannah James.
Not Genie.
That she's better known. She's better known to the MOP world. She's known and loved by her proper name, which is Not Genie Francis. Backstory on that, because we will be calling her Not Genie Francis until the end of time. As you may know, if you have our MOP regulars, one of our shows that we really loved and have lost.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Is Mercy Street. The late lamented Mercy Street. Sláinte mhath to Mercy Street. Rest in peace. May it rest in peace.
Don't worry, Norbs. We'll be over soon.
We'll power through on PBS. Watch. It's two seasons? It's only 2 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it made it to a third.
No, I don't think it made it to third.
I think it's just 2 seasons. So it's easy
What
peasy to get
happened,
through.
though? Why did they put... Why? I loved that show.
I know.
It was
got
delicious.
canceled.
That show was delicious.
And it's about the Civil, like during the Civil War. Yeah. It's like, I think the Civil War is like winding down. But one important like group of like part of it is about this Southern family. That has kind of, was once like, really rich and whatever, and they're struggling to kind of keep their power in their house and whatever. And they have 2 daughters. And it's very much like North and South. If you remember that, there's a British show too, I think, but this is the American show from like the 80s. And it's notable because Patrick Swayze was on it, like way
I never
early
watched
on.
that.
Oh, you got to watch it. If you come across it, it's probably on Netflix or something. So good. But anyway.
And now you're telling me Patrick Swayze was on.
So that family, the Southern family, also had 2 daughters, one of whom was brunette and one of whom was blonde. And the blonde was played by Genie Francis, and the brunette was played by some actress I don't know, so I call her Not Genie Francis. Well, in Mercy Street, the blonde was played by somebody, and the brunette was played by Hannah James. So clearly, we had Genie Francis and Not Genie Francis. So that's where she gets her name from.
The girl who played Genie Francis, didn't she play the girl the surfer from Hawaii whose arm was bitten off by a shark?
I think so. I think she might have been also on that Carrie Bradshaw before she was Carrie Bradshaw show.
Yes! That's who she is.
Yeah.
She played Carrie Bradshaw in the prequel.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, and we love her. We love
Not Genie Francis.
So we were very excited to hear that she was going to get the part of Geneva.
Well, she's very good.
She was very good. She's very good in this.
Very good, and she's very stately looking.
Mm-hmm. She's very beautiful. Like I gotta say, I mean, most of this episode, really, certainly the Jamie parts, straight out of the book, straight out of my head, like with a couple of exceptions that we'll talk about, but
yes.
But she was a perfect Geneva. She was a bitch on wheels, but she was likable, and she was, I'm going to say pitiful, not pitiful, pityful, i.e. You could very easily pity her, and feel sorry for her, and understand maybe why she was the way she was. And she hit all those things, Genie Francis hit all those things right on the mark.
I think she and they, meaning the producers, did a fantastic job, and the writers, I could go on, did a fantastic job of bringing forth her innocence along with her feistiness. Like, underneath all that bitchiness was a scared little girl. Yes. And she really brought that. Yes. And she was like I said, she was like sexy but innocent at the same time. She was fantastic. Just fantastic.
I thought she was great. And that you hit it right on the head. That she was a scared little girl, and she covered it up by being a bitch. Yeah. All the bitchiness came out of this place of, obviously the way that both she and Isabel, and really women as a whole at that point, were treated, where they could just be practically sold to like some disgusting old, geezer. That guy was just slimy and so gross.
When he said, a fortnight until
You are mine.
you're mine, and it sounded like until I own you.
Yes.
It was so gross.
gross.
And Jamie, like, I just thought that was so funny. It was like, you could,
it was
like, ooh.
Not Genie Francis would have been like, excuse me. Let me barf all over your hand, old man.
But I thought it was fantastic of her to come up with this scheme. Not fantastic to blackmail Jamie, but this fantastic scheme, like, haha, old man, I'll show you.
Right.
Which, P.S., hi, Diana Gabaldon, brilliant mind, thank you.
I know. All right, but anyway, she's just stepped out of the carriage at this point.
Yes.
So, okay, and Isabel also,
Perfect acting.
perfect actress. I mean, I like the contrast between the two of them. You could say that Not Genie Francis is a little more glamorous, and she's like the traditional beauty, and Isabel is a little plainer, but like she really has a heart of gold, and she, takes such pity on the animals, and like wants them to be like free. Doesn't like that they feel captured or in captivity or whatever. And you could see the two of them like really great together as sisters, where I'm sure they fight all the time, but yet they love each other and they tell each other everything.
Right.
Yeah, really good. So Jamie is the new guy in town. We see him. He gets summoned to the Lord's house, and they have a little chat. And
I love that chat.
I like that chat too. Lord Dunsany or Dunsany or whatever they're calling him
Was a good guy.
He was a good guy. He was tough, but he was fair.
And Jamie, I think, respected him.
Yes, agreed.
Because he had his statement to make. They had their back and forth. He learned a little bit about Jamie. Jamie learned a little bit about him. And in the end, Jamie realized this guy has a heart, but he's got a household to run here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give him my respect because he's giving me his. As long as somebody respects James Alexander, Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser, he's going to respect them back.
100%. He felt the respect. He felt, he also was put in his place, in that you are still a prisoner.
Right.
And
but I don't think he minded because I don't think he minded because I think he respected the position of Lord Dunsany. Am I saying that right?
I think so.
It's not Dunsany.
I don't know what the hell it is.
I just had it in my brain and now it's gone. But I think that he didn't mind. Yeah. Anybody else, you wouldn't have gotten away with that. But he didn't mind because this guy wasn't being a big old douche about it. He was stating it matter-of-factly, and that's that. I think Jamie almost, appreciated it, if that makes sense.
He was kind of like Lord...
conversation when he said, by the way, don't forget your place around here.
Right. Lord Dunsany was very much like what Hal was to the Jacobite, the prisoners at Culloden, where he was very y'all are traitors and we have to shoot you, but, we're going to do this the most honorable way we can.
And not only that, but I feel like Jamie, now I'm totally making this up right now, pulling it right on out of my rear end. But I almost felt like Jamie respected him because Jamie knew that's how he would govern at Lollybroch.
Right.
Jamie was plopped down into this guy's lap. It's not like this guy did Jamie wrong. He didn't do, Jamie's a prisoner of the country. He's a prisoner of the crown. Mm-hmm. So he was plopped into this guy's lap. So I think Jamie sees him, his rule, so to speak, in his house, the way Jamie would govern at Lollybroch.
Right, exactly. That's a good point, yes. And plus, they both had the experience of losing children, and I think that they kind of respected that too.
Yeah.
I did. I liked that. I mean, that conversation was all 15 seconds, but I really liked it.
Really? I really liked it. I have it written down. Yes, he's a good soul.
So, okay. We are back to 1968.
I'm already laughing.
And Bree does a good Scottish accent. Could it be because she's is she really Scottish?
I was thinking that too. I was so confused about everybody's nationalities and stuff because I'm like, wait. She really is? Is she English or Scottish?
I think she's English. And I couldn't tell you what the hell Not Genie Francis is because...
And Not Genie Francis, I think, is like from Virginia, but was born elsewhere, but was raised in Virginia or something. I don't know.
Not Genie Francis just got off 2 seasons of a show where she had to talk like this all the time. And so I think it like screwed up her English accent a little bit. And she didn't know what she was doing. She was a little confused. You know?
All right,
but you know, we'll forgive that because she was like so great in every other aspect. Okay. I
may go back to this, but keep going.
Okay, that's fine. We can put a pin in it, as they say. So Bree is teaching. Why can't I talk? Jesus. Teasing Roger. He's like, you know, she's like, Roger and Fiona sitting in a tree. If only she did it in a Scottish accent. And then, you know, then Bree fixes the car because she can do anything.
Okay, I have to go back to Not Genie Francis because she's a British American actress. She was raised in Radiant, am I saying that right? Virginia, by her English mother and American father on a farm. So she was, and then I think she might have gone back to England and had her drama schooling. But the bottom line is she was raised in Virginia. So she doesn't have that accent, but she grew up with a mother who probably has that accent.
Interesting, because the Virginia accent, too, I would think. Because I think, wasn't Mercy Street set in Virginia?
I just dribbled.
Oh, I thought that was because you were just so surprised that I came up with that.
Yes, it was set in Virginia. But getting back to the Bree thing, I have, Bree, you mechanic, you. I have it started right up.
Is there nothing Bree can't do?
Oh, first of many of Bree's talents. it almost talk about making you like, it gave me comfort. This scene gave me comfort to see Bree just knowing everything.
I mean, what would we do if Bree did something wrong?
Oh, I don't know.
I hate to say this, you guys, but this is like a foreshadowing. Bree may become my Frank.
I'm keeping my mouth shut.
No, I just
Bree may become your Frank.
My Frank. Everyone always complains about Frank, and I'm the one that's like, Frank's not so bad. I get where Frank's coming from. I may be complaining about Bree.
In the show, or
in the show.
See, this.
And I mean, like in general, I don't want to have a big discussion about Frank, but I've always been of the mindset that I don't hate Frank. I've never hated Frank.
I've said that a million times.
Right.
Different things about Frank have annoyed me. And book Frank really annoyed me. And although TV show Frank annoyed me with the egos and his disdain for American life.
Right.
And
all I'm saying is, like, I always, there's millions of people that really, really, really hate Frank. And I'm always like, I don't hate Frank. I get Frank. I understand where he's coming from, blah, 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 blah.
Well, I felt genuinely bad for Frank.
Bree's just getting on my last nerve.
Frank, I felt worse for Frank in the show at the end than I did for him in the book, because they had the agreement and he was just acting out, and he loved Claire and Claire didn't love him. That's how it was portrayed in the show. In the book, it's different, but whatever. We're not going to keep saying in the book.
Okay.
Now we're back to Jamie. And
this is actually where
or John.
Yes, we're back to Jamie, and now we're really meeting Geneva. We sort of saw her as she like stepped out of the carriage before, but now we get our first taste.
Yeah,
it's time for her ride, and the groomsmen like draw the short straw to be the unlucky fella to have to go with him, and she's a huge bitch. And she is, telling Jamie to go get her whatever, some horse piece. And is like, come on,
And at this point, she's not noticing Jamie.
No, she's just too busy, concentrating on being bitchy.
Right. At this point, she hasn't even, looked in his general direction. She's just like, get my horse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I forget what Jamie says, like, to the guy standing next to him, like, you know, oh, like, basically she could use a good kick in the pants or whatever. And Isabel overhears, and she's like, my sister or the horse? I think is what she said, something like that. But she's so cool that, like, Jamie's like, oh my god, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And she's like, whatever. Yeah, I get it. It wouldn't help anyway.
Yeah.
I get it, bro. I get it. It's all good.
And then she's like, oh, these fantastic beasts or whatever she says, and I wish they could run free. And Jamie's kind of like, you're pretty cool.
Yeah. But then we learn that she has a lot of respect for Lord John. They've known each other since children, and he'll make some woman a fine husband. And Jamie says, I wrote this down. Jamie's like, military and marriage are no easy bedfellows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, because that's the problem.
Yeah, I have written down.
That's one excuse, Jamie.
I have written down. Jamie's like, sorry, but you're barking up the wrong tree. I mean, the whole time he's like, no.
No, let's turn you around. Let's turn you around, Isabel. Yeah, now. Because he's in the military. That's it. He's in the military. You don't want to marry a military man.
Yeah.
No.
She's sort of like Baby in Dirty Dancing when her sister shares that she loves Robbie, and she's gonna go all the way. And Baby's like, oh no,
Lisa, no.
You don't want to do that. No.
Yeah.
That's Jamie in this scene.
That was a great scene too. Okay, back to the present. Ring, ring. It's the hospital. It's Joe Abernathy. Where are you? Where you at, Claire? When are we going to dinner?
Okay. Sorry, I'm jumping in because I'm so.
All right, I have one thing to say about that, but go ahead.
First of all, I have, why did Joe Abernathy age, but Claire hasn't? His hair is gray.
I know. They were like, they're both in the makeup chair, and they're like, okay, time to age you, Joe.
With the talcum powder.
Okay, now time to age Claire. Done.
A little balayage. Let me tell you. A little, and my hair always looks like I have little lines when I'm in these videos. A little balayage.
Yeah, that's Claire. Let's do this. Okay, there we go, Claire. There's your age makeup.
There's your age. And what was with that phone conversation of, you can handle it, Joe? And he's like, of course I can. Like,
yeah, bitch, we graduated like the same year. What are you, my boss?
Did you stop insulting Joe?
I know. I noticed it too. I mean, she kind of, I don't know what she is in the TV show, but in the book, she kind of is his boss, actually, because I think she's like the head of surgery or something.
Well, I loved when he was like, I know I can handle it.
I know.
Bitch, please.
That makes me want to be played by Samuel L. Jackson. Bitch, please. I wish I could think of something from Pulp Fiction.
Royale with cheese. Please. Normally he'd be dead right now, but I'm in a transitional period. Wouldn't it be funny if Joe just totally went off on her? Like, I'm sorry, and who do you think you are?
Oh my god, that's too funny. What I was thinking is, like, she is, in that whole conversation, the picture of Barbra Streisand from, like, maybe The Way We Were.
Oh my god, you're so right.
Totally. And I said that last season. There was a minute in last season where she was, too. But that conversation, she has, I mean, she doesn't have, like, the nose of Barbra Streisand.
It was the angle.
She has the bone structure, like the angular face, maybe.
She looks like somebody
maybe
different.
The mouth a little bit. And certainly the hair. I was like, oh my god, she could be Barbra Streisand's sister.
She has one of those faces where she just looks like someone different at different times.
Right, yes.
It's like real. You just hit the nail on the head.
and it's not, she doesn't always look like Barbra Streisand, even when she's like that age, Claire. But like in that shot,
Kate, may I call you Kate? You don't always look like Barbra Streisand. Sorry, Kat.
Like Katrina.
You don't always look like Barbra Streisand.
No, only sometimes. Like you certainly don't look like her like in like the main event years. It's only like that, the way we were, kind of, when she's got that like hair like that.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just picturing that album cover.
Or can we go back to the past? Because the present was overall, the present was a little boring in this episode. I mean, you know, like if we're weighing it against the past, yeah.
And if we're staring at Kat and looking at her eye makeup as much as I was like, is that a line drawn? All right,
but it's, you know, I will throw this out too. A little slow golf clap to Terry, because the costumes, I mean, like, you know, she's had to do between the clan years of the first season and the 40s and the France stuff, and now the 60s or the 70s, really, like closer to the 70s. And like every time period, she's just got, how the show isn't winning Emmy after Emmy after Emmy for costumes, I do not know.
I have no idea. And you're segueing me right into my next comment about the past, which I hadn't even thought about it that way. I never pictured Jamie to be so well dressed and clean when he was at Hellwater. Like in my mind, when I was reading it, he was kind of scruffy and like had like, you know, he was the horse guy.
So he smelled like horse shit.
And he was sleeping in the barn in like the top of the barn.
Yeah.
In the stable, yeah. So like I never pictured Jamie. He looks fantastic in this. I love the whole ensemble.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I guess, you know, when you work at Hellwater, now, you know, if you think about it, like, they're so rich that even, like, their, you know, I don't know, the farms guys are still
going to be, yes. Right, right.
Okay, so we find out Geneva is getting hitched to an old dude, the Lord Ellesmere, or, you know, Lord of Ellesmere, or whatever.
And he's pretty disgusting.
He's gross. And you do feel sorry for her. You really do. When he's, like, on her hand, like, you know, some sort of disgusting, leechy piece of disgustingness.
Ew, and he says, in a fortnight, you'll be mine. And did we already say this?
Yes, we did.
And all I can think of is, like, I'll own you. Like, he was so disgusting and smarmy.
I know, it was so gross. So, but anyway, so he rides off, and
Thank God.
sees, and they're making all sorts of fun about, like, you know, Jamie's red hair, and how if it was my son, I would have drowned him. Like, oh, you know what, right here, gross dude. And she turns, not Genie Francis, turns back and kind of takes a look at Jamie, like she's seeing him for the first time.
She's like,
what I have written down here is she eyes JAMMF like, yum. So,
yeah.
So she's like, her eyes are opened. She's like, ooh, I wasn't noticing, you know, the candy that's at the stables, but I'm gonna start looking harder.
Well, that's because he was standing next to old gross dude. She was like, old gross dude, hot stable boy. Yeah. Old gross dude, hot stable boy.
So she makes Jamie go riding with her, even though he did not draw the short straw.
Right. So now we all know what's coming.
Right. So that's just a great scene where they go off riding. You know, she's all like, you know, bitchy and calling him like impertinent and stuff, and he has to do whatever she says because she's like, you know, his boss or whatever.
She owns him.
She owns him. And she fakes out a fall. When he finds out, he like drops her in the mud, and she doesn't care. She's all like, that was great, you know, see you later. She's not even mad. And I think that kind of tells you something about who she is too.
Yeah,
I
was
really
shocked.
Enjoying this, you know, and she's not surprised that he did that.
Right.
she's in it to win it. She's liking this. She really is. She
Oh
really
yeah,
is.
she's liking herself some Jamie and some fun.
This
is the foreplay before the foreplay.
Right. So then the next scene, LJ is back and he's ready for some chess.
He's ready for a little chess. And I have written down, so glad they're touching on the closeness between Jamie and Lord John. Like, I just loved that
agreed.
chess match. And the two of them are just so fond of each other, and it's so nice to see.
I just seeing that they're buds again,
What it is, it's the human spirit reacting to one another. You know what I mean? It was great.
Right. I'm going to interject in here to say that part of the books, I mean, you as you probably know, well, maybe you don't as a reader or as a non-reader if you're a non-reader.
Be careful.
It's not a spoiler. It's not a spoiler. But Lord John has his own series of books.
That I think I may now go back and read. Because what's his name? David Barry?
I know.
This doesn't usually happen where the actor makes me like the character more. I mean, I'm a total Lord John fan. But now I'm like, now that I can see, I'm like, oh, I'm going back.
They're different from the Outlander books. A lot of them are mysteries, so it's kind of a different tone. But there's a couple of them that take place around the time where Jamie is at Hellwater.
Yes.
And Jamie is in a couple of them.
Right.
And it kind of like, if you haven't read those books, if you read the Outlander books, if you read Voyager, but you haven't read those books, you're only getting half the story.
Yeah,
and you get a lot. I mean, tonight we saw, maybe 10 minutes between the two of them, if that. And you get a lot of holes filled in about how their relationship did, because it wasn't that it just like mended overnight. So you do get to see kind of how that happened in these Lord John books. So I would say read them. They're really great. Where was I? Okay. So they have the scene. They're playing chess. They're buds again. Then, I don't even remember, were they out walking or something?
Up-walked Hal and...
When they were playing chess?
They were playing chess, and Hal walked up...
Is this where?
...with Not Genie Francis and Isabel.
It made me wonder, though, where's... in the book... This isn't really a spoiler. In the books, Hal has wife. Minnie. And
at this point...
She's really cool. I think so.
Because I literally have written down, why didn't, Hal marry Not Genie Francis? And, you know what I mean? Why?
Good point. Ooh.
Why didn't the brothers marry the sisters?
Especially if they're childhood friends.
How did you like that comment, too, from Isabel? I can't remember her exact words. I should have written it down. About, we were childhood friends. And I have such respect for him, or whatever she said. And I was like, I think
affection.
It's more...
Or admiration. Didn't we say last week, they all say that admire is a good, i.e., I want to jump his bones.
I don't know, but all I know is I was just like, really? Is that what it is? You admire his,
assets?
You admire his something else.
I almost wonder if the Greys were maybe not, important enough or wealthy enough.
Oh, yeah, okay.
The Dunsany's.
Okay.
I don't know. That's if you, I read the book, I don't remember it enough. I don't remember that minutia enough to know why they didn't just marry the Greys. Because there's two of them and two of them. It would make perfect sense, actually.
Right.
But it might have something to do with that. But if you have read it more recently, tell us in the comments.
Okay.
Maybe it's not even a spoiler, whatever. So I loved in that scene the looks between Hal and Lord John were awesome.
Because
so
Hal had his number.
Yeah.
Playing chess with James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser, aka Red Jamie, and Hal was sitting there like, oh God, here we go again.
For the love of God, won't this guy just go away?
Yes, and Lord John was kind of like... Lord John was like, what?
crying over him, Hal. Look.
Yeah. Just playing a little chess.
Yeah, no, they were shooting each other looks that it was great. It was so hilarious. And then Isabel gets in on the look action because she's shooting Lord John some looks that are like, come hither
I
looks.
think at that point, Isabel might have realized, I'm going to get myself something out of Hal here. He knows. Maybe I didn't.
No, that was Geneva. I mean.
What did I say, Isabel? I meant Geneva.
Yes.
I meant Geneva, but I didn't pick up on it while I was watching that scene. But then later, I'm thinking that is where Geneva got it in her head.
Yes.
Hal knows this guy.
Something is there. Yeah. They know.
How about opening a bottle of port?
Carol, how many glasses of port does it take for you to start spilling your secrets?
What would you like to know? I wish I had secrets.
I know. Clearly, we talk about shit for hours at a time on these things. We have nothing to hide. Okay. Now comes one of the best scenes, I think, of the whole show.
Oh my God, get on it.
She goes off to the stable area, and the stable area is like this little town. There's people running around everywhere.
There were people walking around, and I'm thinking, how are you having this conversation
I know.
in the middle of all these people?
I know.
That was weird.
It was a little weird. But that the shoveling shit conversation, as I will label it.
Again, I was wishing he had said shite.
Right out of the book. I mean, so much of this was cribbed out of the book. Shoving shit, m'lady. And this whole conversation was great. When they're sort of doing close-ups of the both of them, I couldn't take my eyes off them. I mean,
no.
This is where I put Not Genie Francis. Where's your accent?
Yeah, it disappeared a couple times there.
I do. I loved her so much, though. Despite all that, what?
Okay, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Despite all that, I loved her so much that I literally stopped watching in the middle of it and went to Twitter to go follow her on Twitter. But I already do. So
I liked her because of that. Because I cannot stand when actors can't do the accent and try too hard, because it's just going to be distracting and take me right on out. Whereas she clearly knows what she's capable of accent-wise. And that's what these actors who do this English accent, that's what they need to do. If you can't do it in a certain way, just hang back and sound more American, but take those words that you're really good at and really use them. Because she did have a couple of words and a couple of phrases that were spot on. So, because I started listening at that point, because I was like, is she American? You know what I mean? But then there were other words that she would say and they were perfect. So I would much rather have somebody kind of do a very mild than try, I'm not going to say who, but I'm dying to. That's what I'll say when I have a few more cocktails. Certain other movies or, shows where people just try way too hard and you're like, oh my God, where was your vocal coach? And why were
bad
they
accents
not
are so bad.
Yeah, just don't. Just have a very light accent if you can't do the accent.
Here's my only problem with that. I mean, I agree with you, and I got past it with her because she was so good that I forgot it, which is a real statement because accents are my pet peeve. I hate when people have bad accents.
It is distracting
it's
when they have a bad accent, yes.
The problem was that all of the family had different accents.
Isabel especially.
Yes.
So you're like, how are these two sisters?
Yes.
She sounds completely...
Yes. Carol and I haven't lived near each other in a million years, but I will still, and part of this is because, we're sisters, so we sound alike just because people in a family sound alike, whatever. But I will literally hear Carol, on a voicemail or something like that and think it's me. I left the voicemail.
I know, me too. It's funny.
And it's we sound alike because we grew up in the same house and because we're related and, whatever. And voices are probably genetic to a certain degree. But, yeah, when all four people in the same house have different accents, it's a little distracting.
and because we both moved to New Jersey years and years ago. So I just heard all come out of your mouth. We never would have said all back when we were living in Pennsylvania.
That's true.
But I will hear myself say coffee instead of
Anyway, okay. So they go face to face. He calls her you filthy bitch.
I have that written down when he says, "How dare you speak to me? How dare you speak that way to me?" She goes, "How dare you speak that way to me?" And he goes, "How dare you speak that way to me?"
Oh, it was so great.
And then he calls her, "You filthy wee bitch."
Bitch.
Oh.
You filthy wee bitch. God, that was bad. But the close-up of him, I couldn't take my eyes off him. He's all like, the eyes are like, and he's got like that kind of skin that he's been out in the sun too long, and he's kind of like freckly and sunburned at the same time.
I noticed that he had a lot of freckles happening.
And then you flash to her, and she's just like perfect looking. She's like porcelain, like a porcelain doll.
Mm-hmm.
The shots, the camera work was just so good in that scene.
And you know how she gets away with being a filthy wee bitch?
Uh-huh.
She has the saddest eyes.
Yes.
So, like, no matter how bitchy she's being, she just has these sad eyes. Yeah.
I wrote down, Not Genie Francis is following the footsteps of Mary McNabb as a really great female guest star. We've seen several women one-shots this year that are hitting it out of the park.
Well, I'm hoping that Mary McNabb was not a one-shot.
I mean, I guess we'll see. Wait and see. I don't know. Diana always says that in Gaelic, and I don't know how to say it, but we'll wait and see. Clearly, Not Genie Francis is a one-shot, since
Yeah. Ain't gonna be seeing no more Not Genie Francis. Which I'm glad. That's another thing. I want to thank the producers for doing. They got us in and out in one episode, and I loved that, and I needed that, and I think the hardcore Jamie fans needed that.
Yes.
I could not have dealt with another episode with Geneva and dragging this all out.
Yep.
And I'm usually the biggest complainer when they something's too fast and out. Like, what do I call that? Melrose Place syndrome, when someone used to like go through alcoholism and rehab in a day. And but in this, I thank them. I thank you guys, because I think we needed Geneva to come in like a force and get out in the same episode.
So, like, Hellwater was one complete story in one episode, and it worked.
Perfect.
Really good, like, story, like cutting the story into certain chunks, and that worked really well.
Right.
Okay. So, there's JAMMF at the window. He's coming. She says,
I was worried about him. I was like, watch out, man. Duck. What if someone sees you?
Well,
was it the wind?
He's got those Edward magical powers, so he can just appear at the window at any given time.
Oh my God, it was more like Salem's Lot. I was like, what? Get in there, man. Take a dive. Get down. I swear to God, I was afraid Lord Dunsany was going to come along.
So then, after Geneva, orders him to disrobe, we get the striptease of a lifetime from James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser. And then when he says the immortal words, "You may watch," and we were like, "Yes, please."
My man's into watching. I was like, I thought it was very sweet though, and she was already out. Sorry, you guys. I thought it was very considerate of him to say that, because he's really, that was that way in the book. So I like that they brought that out. Mm-hmm. He's really taking into account her situation and trying to make this as
pleasant and
not just pleasant, yes, but not just pleasant like the act,
right?
But he's realizing she's going to have to go be with that shriveled up old man you know what I mean, with the prunes. So I am gonna let her.
She's gonna have a night she'll remember.
Yes.
Yes.
Lord,
Agreed.
would she remember.
Agreed. Yeah, because it's gonna suck from here on in. So at least let's give her something. Let's send her off with a bang, so to speak.
Right.
I did think it was somewhat reminiscent of The Wedding.
Okay.
Where again, here's these two that they don't really know each other. Mm-hmm. They kind of have to do it.
Right.
There's not really, they don't have a choice. I mean, she does, I guess, but Jamie doesn't have a choice. Mm-hmm. So they're kind of making the best of it.
Okay.
I also thought, it was kind of funny at the wedding, Jamie was kind of the student, but now the student has become the master. And class is in session.
I'd be like, I'm a novice, sir. Please. I would like some lessons. I'll sign up for the extra ones. I'll sign up for the enrichment courses too.
May I take some extracurricular activity? I'll do that for extra credit.
I like these lessons so much, you're going to have to kick me out. Jamie, Alex, whatever your name is, I order you to stay until next Friday. She should have just ordered him to, go and, shoot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kill off the old loser dude.
To go to Grocerson, and kill him.
Yeah, but don't you think a part of her wanted that life, that? I mean, when you finally get to see Ellesmere, you're like, holy crap.
No.
So I think I'd be like, all right, Jamie, as soon as we both say I do, then whip out your gun.
No,
and you
I don't
have
think she wanted any part of it.
Because I'm going to tell everybody about Lallybrock.
I don't think she wanted any part of the Ellesmere land.
She didn't even, I respected that too. At least we didn't see it. She didn't even tell Daddy that she didn't want to marry this guy. She wasn't like, please let me marry him. She was like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm chattel, whatever. Okay, so we have to, I thought the whole scene was great. Again, so much from the book. May I touch you, milady? The first time can be vexing. All that, so great. There's one way it's different from the book.
Oh,
and that we need to break down a little bit. I'm going to put a spoiler, and this is going to be labeled as a spoiler, but before we do, I will say it's not really a spoiler per se, but there's one way in which this scene was extremely different from the book, and if you don't want to know what that is, don't watch this part, but if you do watch it, you're not going to spoil yourself for any plot points in the future. It's just a big bone of contention.
No, she's gone. Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me. Spoiler alert.
Okay. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think they weighed the consequences and said, we're not going there. Okay. And it might have been a matter of they might have gone there and then it might have ended up on the cutting room floor. Okay. But I think they decided not to go there.
For non-book readers who don't care about spoilers and they're still with us, what happens in this scene is it all goes down exactly as you see until they start getting busy.
Literally.
Literally. They start getting busy.
No, it literally goes down.
Oh. Well, yeah, but Jamie's like, okay, here we go.
Right.
And he starts, and she says, no, it hurts. No, get it out. No.
Which is more realistic.
Right. And he thinks to himself, this is her first time. I don't even think you hear him thinking this to himself. I don't even remember. But basically, he's like, F that. No. She wanted me to do this? No. And he's like, no, we're doing it. and he does it.
Yeah.
And she
it's almost
enjoys
like
it eventually.
Yes. He knows what's best for her. Oh, God, I'm going to get in so much trouble for saying that. It's like he knows what she wants. He knows she's in pain. He knows she's just freaking out all of a sudden, but he also knows he's going to get her past it. And this is what she wants.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. I think he knows that she's going to be happy. Oh, God. Well, first of all, I mean, again, for people who haven't read the book, this is a really controversial part of the book. This is, I'm sure, a moment where you lose readers because they're like, he raped her. It's like, did Jamie rape her? Did Jamie not rape her?
Well, Diana weighed in on this, online at one point. Because this is what I'm saying. They knew this was going to be an issue.
Right.
Just like the spanking in season 1.
Right. They did the spanking, and I think the spanking was much more integral to the plot than this was.
Yeah. In this,
I think it was a good choice to cut it. I think it was a really good choice.
The only thing I didn't like is the same thing I never like. When they show in the movies or in TV, when someone's losing their virginity, it's the most wondrous sex ever on the planet. And there are birds chirping, and there are, and the girl's like, and you're like, are you kidding me? This is your first time. And,
it's going to suck.
And not only that, it's going to suck with, like, little Mr. Nothing, okay? But this
is the king man. It's still gonna suck.
To me, it's distracting to have her not stop and go, wait. You know what I mean? But I'm so not complaining because I get it. I was like, I thought it for a minute. I was like, oh, this isn't the way. Because I was like, I can't wait to see how they're going to handle this. They very gracefully just
cut it out. Yeah. I think it was a good call. I mean, even though I'm with you 100% about the whole, like, movie first time.
Mm-hmm. It's distracting.
Yeah.
You're like, oh,
way
come on.
Distracting.
Yeah.
It's way distracting.
Right.
I think it was smart. I think it was the only choice they had. I think if you're weighing between it being kind of ridiculous that granted it's Jamie, so the chances of the first time being like amazing and the best one of your life are significantly increased. Because this is Jamie we're talking about. But the overall weighing the reality of this being like such an awesome, monumentous like event against what people might say if it even looked for a second like it was rape or forced.
They couldn't do it. They couldn't.
You're not going there.
Let me tell you something. They didn't have the time to fully give you Not Genie Francis, give you Geneva and Jamie and their little wacky relationship. There were times when he'd be out working in the field and she'd be standing there for an hour talking to him and they'd have like a little almost jovial little conversation. You know what I mean? Even though she's a big old bitch, but they'd have like a little they always had like a little back and forth. You know what I mean? In the books. Mm-hmm. So, what? and they didn't have time to show all that. So they really just could not go there. They couldn't. They would never have been able to go
there even if they showed like an entire season of this going on.
Yeah,
I don't think. I mean, again, the spanking is one thing, and it's not like I'm okay with like violence against women versus rape or forcing a woman to have sex or whatever. Is that Tom? Hi, Tom. But
Tracey says hello.
So does our public, Tom, and they want him on.
She says, so does our public, Tom, and they want him on.
So I got the chance.
You do know we're videoing this, right? Can I say that out loud? He said, all right, you guys, I have to make a little announcement then. I may have said to...
Wait, say that. Like, can you put a pin in that? Because we're still on spoiler mode.
Oh, okay. All right.
Put a pin on that.
Okay.
And I don't have much to say about it either, except I think they made the right choice.
I think they made it right. But didn't he then... I couldn't remember if I made this up in my head. Didn't he then afterward want to make sure she enjoyed it?
They might have done it again, I think. I think they
I
did it
thought
again.
he might
I
have.
think they did it again. I think they did.
I thought maybe he.
Oh,
I couldn't remember, and I really
I
need to
don't
go
honestly remember.
Okay.
I don't think so. I could be wrong.
downtown. Everything's waiting for.
I don't think he would do that. You know what? I don't think he would do that.
I don't remember, but I do. In my head, I always, and I have a very bad habit of writing my own ending with stuff that if I want it to end differently, and then I forget, and I'll hear myself telling somebody about a movie, and I'll be like, and then this happened, and Tom's like, that never happened. You made that up in your head. So maybe I made it up in my head. I don't know.
I don't think that. Oh my God, this is gonna be the longest video ever. Just FYI.
All right, let's hurry it up.
Yeah, I don't think that he would have done. I think that that's a special thing he only does to Claire, but I could be wrong. Anyway, I'm gonna end the spoiler, but just like know that it was different. I think it was a good choice. I don't think you could do anything else. Tell us what you think in the comments. Try to mark it as a spoiler. Whatever. Okay, spoiler is done. We just in the midst of our spoiler, for those of you who were fast forwarding, Tom kind of made a little appearance with his arm, and we were like, Tom, we miss you. Our public misses you. When are you coming back? What did he say?
He said, tell him I got the cancer.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, I just said, am I allowed to say that? He was like, yeah.
So, do you want to tell a little bit about...
We just had a really shitty summer. I think the first video we did, I was like, oh my God, I think the first video we did, I had just come back from the hospital or something. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Turn finale I watched from the University of Pennsylvania hospital, from his room after surgery number 2. So anyway, we take care of things in this family. We move on. So that's what we're doing.
But all's looking good. I mean, all's looking good. All's looking good. The end result is very promising, y'all.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about it a little more maybe when he goes to bed. Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I can talk because they don't hear me, because Tom doesn't hear me talk. So I will talk.
Exactly.
Should I tell the whole? Should I just nutshell it, or do you want to go? Okay. Yeah. I'll cut out if basically, this has been going on for a little while, but since July, but the prognosis is really, really, really good, you guys. The getting there is tough, as I'm sure many of you have been through this kind of thing. No, but the prognosis, that the light at the end of the tunnel, there's gold at the end of the rainbow. Just climbing across the rainbow is a lot hard. But
it's been really tough. We're in the middle of phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 was 2 surgeries. It was tonsil cancer, which had then come out to the lymph nodes. So there had to be a lymph node surgery to remove lymph nodes, and surgery to remove his tonsil and some soft palate and things like that. And it's been one hell of a recovery. And if you asked me a month ago, I would have been like, we were making these videos though. I was like, I'll be in here now. But he's doing so much better, is able to eat. We go back to university. First of all, the University of Pennsylvania Hospital is so amazing. I can't even begin to tell you. And we go every week, and his diet has now been upgraded and upgraded and upgraded. Boy, what a difference a month makes with a nasogastric tube. And now he can eat, he had a cheeseburger the other day. It was a big, huge deal.
It was a big deal.
It was a big, huge deal. He still can't eat, he's still swallowing. It's very hard. A meal could take an hour to get it down, but whatever. And now we're sort of waiting while he heals, and then there will be some radiation and chemotherapy in October, November, and then we're going to be done with the whole thing. And he's got a over 90% probability that it will not return after he's all finished. All is said and done. So that is
So
where
it's all good. And like, how about we, by episode 13, which is, I don't know how many weeks from now or months from now, like 3 months, something like that. Maybe we'll see. Maybe that's like his goal, his real goal.
Well,
there's that whole like, getting better goal, but like the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Ultimate goal is to be on MOP.
There's that.
This season.
There's that whole like beating cancer goal, and then there's that whole be on MOP goal. But we joke around because we're from a very joking family, as Tracey will tell you, and he and I call it the cancer, like we're on The Sopranos or something. So we incorporate that all the time. I'll be like, "Did you tell her you get the cancer?" So just now, when I was like, "Do you want to be on?" He was like, "No." He's like, "Tell him I got the cancer." That's the only reason. And I was like, "Can I really?" And he was like, "Yeah, whatever."
I totally didn't know if we were going to talk about this tonight, you guys, either.
I didn't either.
Oh my God. So now we'll know. Now we'll know who watches up to the 1 hour and 15 mark.
1 hour and 15. I think it's longer than that.
No, we're at 1:17. It'll be a little less than that, but okay.
Okay.
So we're all good. That's the scoop.
God, people in my town don't even know, and I just told the world. 2 guys from my town just found out at a track meet tonight. They were like, "Hey, what's wrong with your voice?" And he was like, "I had the cancer."
Oh my God.
Let me tell you something. I thought Jamie Fraser was the toughest guy I knew up until all of this.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Hands down, MOP Tom.
MOP Tom.
What he's been through,
the crown.
You wouldn't wish on your worst. You wouldn't wish on Black Jack Randall what I have seen my husband go through in the past 6 weeks. We're going to leave it right there.
Yep. So it's all good. It's all good, bro, as they say. And we are looking forward to many more episodes with Tom.
Right. I think we need some deep thoughts. Maybe Tom can do a little deep thought.
Oh, that's true. His deeper voice, too. Okay. All right. Moving on.
Yeah, free up.
I really wished, because we're only like halfway done. God, okay.
Oh, no, we're not.
Okay, well, we have a good portion
Come
to
on, we don't have to say
power through.
We don't have to say every thought that's in our head either.
Great monologue. He sets her straight about, love. She's not really in love with him. Blah 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 blah. Sam was just like so good in this episode.
Oh my God. I just want you guys to know this is the point in the night where I start pouring water in my wine glass. So if you keep seeing me drinking, I swear I'm not I'm not pounding wine.
Okay. So then next scene, time's gone by. She shows up with the hubby and she's knocked up.
Yeah, that was weird. You didn't really know time had gone by. They set it up. They set it up perfectly. You didn't know until she got out and had the hand there and looked at Jamie like,
oh, that was very cool. Yeah.
I couldn't remember from the books. How did she get out of consummating the marriage?
Well, I have something to say about that, but can we hold that off until a bit later?
Okay.
Because I had that question too.
We must have gone back to the 60s because I love Fiona.
Yes.
What a
Let
sweet.
me just ask you one thing. Jamie must have known. This wasn't the first time that he saw pregnant her and realized, right? He's got to have known.
I don't know. They made it look like he didn't know. I thought, back in those days, they sometimes took these honeymoons that were crazy long, like months. Like they would go for, 3-4 months or something. Mm-hmm. So I thought
that's true, actually.
Yeah, I thought maybe, she's been gone. They've been on a honeymoon. They've been traveling Europe. They've done this. They've done that. And he hasn't seen her in 6 months.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. So, yes, we are back to the present. Fiona gives Claire the pearls back. I don't remember why her grandmother had the pearls to begin with. I have no idea. Maybe she got rid of them because she had to get rid of everything because Frank told her to.
That's what I thought. I thought Frank was like, you have to give it all up. So she was like, here, have my pearls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So
I almost said Mrs. Fitz.
I don't even know what happened. I just put Bree, Claire, blah, blah, blah.
My God, just move on. Just move on.
I know. Well, the only significant thing is that Bree makes a little pass at Roger. Roger's like, oh, I didn't know that was gonna. Roger's so cute. I'm sorry. He's just adorable. He's adorable, adorable, adorable. I
was
him.
glad Bree did it. I was like, enough of the tension.
I
just
know,
something.
right. The little flirtation. But then she just like walks away. She's so weird. God, she is gonna annoy the out of me. I'm sorry. She like kisses him like, hee, walks away.
We will find him.
All right, back to the past. Is at the stable door. They gotta go to Ellesmere. You know, sister's in trouble. They get there.
And we need you. There's 13 guys here who can saddle up the horses, but we need you.
'Cause you're the baby daddy.
Yeah. Isabel knows the score.
She totally knows the score. It's a boy. Jamie's like, doesn't know what to do. But it looked like Not Genie Francis is going to be okay. But then Not Genie Francis is not okay. She's dead. Too bad.
She's deader than a doornail.
And slow golf clap for Hannah James, i.e. Geneva, i.e. Not Genie Francis. Because she was excellent in this episode. And it was still Miss Mercy Street. Okay.
Oh, Norbert Leo Butts. And I had to lose Norbert Leo Butts on not only Mercy Street, but also Bloodline. So don't even get me started.
I know. I have to keep tracks on if he's coming back to Broadway. Because he really is a Broadway star at heart.
Love him.
I know. Okay. Big commotion. Well, Isabel like knows all about the baby, smacks Jamie, whatever. Big commotion in the hall, in the grand hall. Ellesmere's got the baby and he's got a knife. And he's like,
it was like the hallway.
I know.
They were like upstairs in the.
Now, this isn't a spoiler. I'm not even gonna label it. But wasn't he dangling the baby out the window in the books?
Yeah, they were like in the study.
Okay. Well, this time he's got a knife. He's taking a knife out of the baby.
He's taking a knife out of the cheese. You think he wants some cheese?
Either that or the dingo ate my husband. That was gross. And that knife, it wasn't just a knife. It was like a carving knife. Like kind of hunting, carving, disgusting knife.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, it was not good. But the whole thing, like Jamie's very like, you know, Jamie, if he like if he lived in this time, he could like be somebody that talks down hostages, you know, because he's just really calm. He's like, okay, everybody be calm. Everybody be calm. We're going to put the gun down. You're going to put the knife down. Gun, knife. They put the gun down. You know, crazy ass mofo is like, no! And Jamie, like, boom, shoots him. Baby falls. Baby's okay. Babies are very pliable.
Baby goes, and it's still like, oh, that couldn't have looked good. I must have had 10 chins.
And then Jamie holds the baby, and
I have that written down.
Goes,
I love Jamie's little look when he was holding William.
And then the baby opens the baby eyes and looks at him.
Well, there's this instant bond where the baby knows Jamie's his daddy. Instantly. He also knows he's a stinking papist.
Right. Well, even a baby feels the power, the life force that is the King of Men, James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right.
Come on. How could you not? Right. So we end up back at Hellwater, and I didn't understand that whole deal with like Jamie's bringing a whole mess of horses, and he like gives one off, and then he gives another. I don't know what was going on there, but anyway, he meets up with Isabel. And she's got the baby. She's taking the baby through a lovely walk in the woods.
That was weird.
As anyone is
Wasn't that sort of done on purpose? I'm going to leave this right here with you, Jamie.
You know, through like...
I'm going to go over there and maybe relieve myself, because that's what they did in the 18th century. And you just stay here with this baby carriage.
It's like the Blair Witch Project, too. Starring Jamie, Isabel, and a baby.
I threw the map away, okay?
The baby's like, where? But really it means, I'm so scared.
if somebody's teeth get pulled out, I'm out. Oh, it was so weird. It was so weird. I was like, what's happening right now?
But anyway, all right. So basically, this comes down to then Mrs. Dunsany shows up and basically is like, "Look, I know who you are. I know who you are, and I saw what you did. But it's all good, and if you want to go home, you can." And he's like, "Home?"
Does she know at that point that he is the father?
I don't think so.
Because I couldn't remember from the books. I have to look it up. But I was like, is she kind of trying to get rid of him right now? Because she's starting to see it. And she's like, we need to get rid of him. So if you want to go home, you can. Because she's like, oh, no, this won't do. Or is she really just being a good person and trying to just give him his freedom because of what he did for her daughter?
I think she's really grateful.
Or for the baby.
She's really grateful. I didn't get the sense that she knows. Maybe she does.
But the father, the jerky ex-dead husband.
We glossed over that.
He was yelling, your daughter's a whore. She was soiled when she came to me. And I can't remember. Did he yell anything about, I didn't hook up with her because she's a big old hoe?
Here's my question. How come he wasn't yelling that shit the minute she started, like, getting big? And he was like, okay, I've never had sex with her, but, she's swelling up like a balloon. She's swelling up like Violet Beauregard, chewing the gum.
Violet, you're turning violet, Violet.
Did somebody roll Not Genie Francis to the juicing room?
I mean, like, what's up with that? Like, how come he's not getting mad then? How come he's getting mad now when she's like, birthed the baby, died? Like, now that she's dead, he can be mad? I didn't get that at all.
Because being mad...
And I really don't get it in the book either.
Being mad then doesn't write books.
I guess. I don't know. I don't think I got it in the book
doesn't
then,
sell
but
TV shows.
I guess not. I don't know. It was weird to me, but anyway. Okay. So Jamie decides he's gonna stay. He likes it there. He likes the horses, but really he's got this little boy to take care of. So flash forward a couple years. Now little Willie is like 5 or so. He's just cute as a button. He's riding his little pony.
And he looks exactly like Jamie.
Not.
I was like, I kept like wanting him to, so I'd be like, well, is it the eyebrow?
And everyone's all like, they're starting to look alike. They're hanging out so much.
Obvious. And I'm thinking, this is major suspension of disbelief because they don't look a thing alike.
This is like when people are like to you and me, like, oh, you guys look so much like sisters, and you and I are like,
you got mom's genes and I got dad's.
See, I think I got dad's genes. I got
How?
mom's, but
you have the gray green eyes.
Well,
and I have the
colors
brown
matter.
Italian
I mean,
eyes.
Have you looked at this lately? Have you looked at the corkscrews lately?
Well, that way you did, but you're also more fair. Like you're more of the Celtic.
Mm-hmm. I see. But point being, you and I don't look alike. I don't think at all.
We totally don't, and we totally do.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, right. But whatever. But I wouldn't look at the two of us and be like, they're starting to look alike because they, make so many videos together. No. So Jamie and Willie together.
That was the thing. I was like, this mother can't know. She would never make that point to her friend when they were walking, and she's like, oh, the big joke is they were together so much they're starting to look alike.
Right.
If the mother knew, she never would have said that.
Right. Totally agree. But the two of them, Jamie and Willie, so cute. I can't even stand it. When Jamie's like, okay, wash the windows of the carriage, like he's learning what it's like to be a dad, and the fact that you can like get your kids to do stuff like chores around the house, like as soon as they can walk. just so cute. I couldn't stand it. Just adorable. The two of them, their chemistry together, just so good, so fun.
His Cockney accent.
Oh, his Cockney accent. I was thinking maybe it's the nursemaid or the governess has a Cockney accent, so that's where he's picking it up. Because he has no mama, you know.
What does he call him? What's he call him? Mac. Why do you have to go home? Well, I have to. No, Matt, don't go home.
All right, let's push through.
Oh, hurry up.
Back to the present.
I've got to go to bed.
At the archives.
What?
We can't find a damn thing. We're at like the National Archives of old shit. No luck. They go to the bar.
What was that all about? And then Claire's getting all pissy with Roger. This is a whole century. Oh, like,
what are you even talking about? I thought
so
you were a historian.
Sorry, Claire, that we're not, getting you the right century. And then poor Roger's like, I'll go ask. I'll go ask the librarian.
Sorry.
And she's like, and the librarian's like, oh, for the love of all that's holy, you've already taken everything, just get it out. Okay. This is wrong.
So,
which, yes, if any of you guys are into studying ancestry and trying to find family members, my family thinks I'm nuts because I send them all kinds of stuff. I had my DNA swab, my cheek swab for my DNA. We have family that we know nothing about, and it drives me insane. And I study online. So I totally get that feeling of like getting to that point with a dead end. You hit a brick wall and you just can't find anything else. And I'm sure any of you who are into genealogy are the same way.
I don't know what was I going to say. But the whole gist of that like future or present part is that Claire's like, time to go home.
Yes, and they weren't allowed to sit at the bar.
No, because they were women. It also wasn't that they weren't allowed to, because clearly they were doing it. It was just that it was frowned upon, I guess.
What?
Sitting at the bar.
Well, that was the thing. I'm like, I thought that was fascinating. I was like, can we come back 10 minutes? Like, how'd you get here? I literally, see, this is what I do. I rewrite it in my head. I was like, okay, so how much do you want to bet Roger parked the car and dropped them because there was no parking? So Roger dropped them at the door, and Bree and Claire, not knowing, went in, and it wasn't too crowded right at the bar, so they took the 2 seats at the bar, and everyone was kind of like, and they didn't really notice. He came in, he sat, and he was like, oh God, they sat at the bar.
Because Claire drinks alone at bars in Boston all the time.
Right. With Millie.
They drink to forget their problems.
Right.
Okay.
Come on, get happy.
Get back to the past, because that's really all we care about at this point. Jamie. But that was very cool because Claire says it's time to go home. Jamie, go back to the past. Jamie says it's time to go home.
Oh, it's awful.
People are starting to notice, even though we clearly did not. Everyone else in the world is starting to notice that they look exactly alike. All of the scenes with Willie. I mean, I think there's 2 of them. So both of the scenes with Willie, again, right out of the book.
The snake.
The spanking. Well, even before that, when he's like, I don't want you to go, Mac. And he said, you have to do whatever I say. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And Jamie gives him a spanking. Right out of the book.
Stinking papist.
And then Willie gives him a hug. And Jamie says some shit in Gaelic. Please, somebody tell us what it is. But at that point, you're just like,
Mandy, we'll call Mandy and ask Mandy what he's saying.
Yeah, somebody knows what all that was, and I'm sure it was just all sorts of crap, like my darling boy or something. Whatever. So before Stinking Papist, we get one last conversation with Lord John, and I just have to say that the 2 of them. If you were like Tracey for the rest of your life, you could only watch one show. Either a show about Jamie and Claire or a show about Jamie and Lord John. Maybe they
Jamie
solve crimes or something. Well, no. Just the 2 of them. It would be hard to decide. But if you throw in like Jamie and Lord John like solve crimes, like a buddy cop show where they solve crimes, Done. No
Done.
contest.
That is
No.
such a great point. And can
No
I tell you that I
contest.
looked up David Barry? I always have to check. Is that his name? And he's like from Australia and married. And I don't know. The thing I saw had a new baby. I don't know if that
I think
was.
I just followed him on Instagram, and he does have a new baby.
Oh my God. Love
People are
him.
talking about this show. I think it's called A Place of Their Own or A Place of
Yes.
My Own.
Yes.
That
Where
in, that's
he's
supposed to be very
married,
good.
but he's gay and his
Right,
character's
right.
gay. Yeah.
But yeah, I would watch that cop show every day, twice on Sunday. Sorry, Claire, but
But Tracey, hi, bearing the lead. What did you think about Jamie's offer?
oh, again, right out of the book. I mean, that tells you something about how concerned Jamie is for this little boy, and how he doesn't want this little boy to have this life where not only, that he's lonely or whatever, but that he's not like trained in morals or trained in, ethics to be a good person. And Jamie knows and trusts that Lord John can do that job. Don't you think?
I just sent you a text. Because I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
It is kind of, and I don't want to get into it.
Okay, but I am having a very hard time just leaving it there.
Well, no, I mean, okay, spoiler, Sheldon, go.
Excuse me. Spoiler alert.
When do we find out? Is it later in the book
It's many books later.
that it was that it was a test?
That it was, Jamie's, and that's one of the things I tend to say, that's kind of like a little spin put on it. I think it was like an impulsive thing. I don't think it was really. Jamie goes on to later tell Claire or somebody that he was just testing Lord John. And if Lord John was like, yeehaw, hop on pop, then Jamie was going to take out his gun and shoot him or something like that.
He was going to pummel him. But no, I think it's the same book. I think it's later in the book. Don't you remember when... All right, you got the spoiler alert going. Mm-hmm. So this is only for the book readers.
Uh-huh.
Claire sees Jamie and Lord John hugging.
Mm-hmm.
And at like a party or something.
Right. Yeah,
and
but they don't get into that level of detail. They get into Claire's like, what the hell, Jamie? And Jamie's like, you don't understand. He's like a friend and he's gay. I think that's how it goes down.
But I still think it was this book that he explained that he never intended. He threw it out there to see. His explanation was that he wanted to see if Lord John was worthy of raising his son.
Right.
And he said if Lord John had taken him up on it, he knew he was not worthy.
Mm-hmm.
But Lord John didn't take him up on it, so he knew this is a good, honest, trustworthy person who I am going to trust with my son.
I think that it was in the later book, and I think that it was the whole thing. I never liked that sort of addendum to it all. I liked the way that moment went down organically, and it felt like when Jamie was like, well, yeah, but I just kind of did that to test him, because I would never really do that because I'm so not gay. It was a little really, but I don't think it was in that book. Book readers, let us know whose memory is more accurate and whose memory is failing them.
I don't know if mine is, but I'm going to tell you right now. How could you possibly think that he did mean it after did we not see the man want to die in season 1?
Yeah, but before that was before he had a child.
That wasn't on his terms.
That was before he had a child. This is a child that he theoretically will never
rape.
see again.
And that was
rape.
rape.
He has to know that this kid is going to be okay.
I'm saying that what he went through in book 1 he was raped, and that was really the biggest issue, was his control was taken away from him. So in this, he's in control.
Right. And I mean, to him, in his mind, we're talking about, would Jamie really offer his body to Lord John given everything that he's been through? I say I think he would, because to him, he doesn't, at this point, I mean, he likely will never see Willie again. And he needs to know that somebody is going to take care of Willie. And that is the most important thing to him. And he wants Lord John to do it. He trusts Lord John to do it. And he knows that what Lord John would want more than anything else is him. So he's willing to make that trade to ensure that his son has a good, upstanding life, that he grows into a good person. That is so important to Jamie that he's willing to give Lord John himself for that. I 100% buy that.
I do not. I don't see him. I do see the whole I'd do anything for my child, but I don't think that he would feel that he would need to go to that extreme with Lord John. I think he already pretty much trusts Lord John, and he knows Lord John's a decent soul and isn't going to take him up on that. And I don't know. I feel like, and see, we got to leave it alone. Got to leave it alone.
We also have to leave it alone because we're getting really late. So we still have a little more to do.
I'll shut up right now.
But we have a couple more things to do. The best part of that whole conversation is that Lord John's reaction was really great. Like, that whole interplay was great.
Oh,
but then
that
Lord
was
John
so
was like,
awesome.
I have some news of my own. I'm getting married. And Jamie's like, to a woman? And he says the same thing in the book. And
don't do that to
hilarious.
her. Like, don't do that to her.
It's so hilarious. And yeah, I mean, when he says, like, man, you can't, or something. I never really knew, in the book or the TV show, I think it's maybe a little of both. You can't do that to her, given that you're gay, but you can't do that to you, given that you're gay. I think it's a little of both.
See, this is where I start to, shake my head, because it's just, think of the time. That's exactly what he would have done in those times. He never would have told Jamie. He wouldn't have made the pass. He wouldn't have. In those times, he would have married her, and that would have been that. And it's very sad that that's the way it is.
Oh, of course.
He would not have. Jamie wouldn't have even known. He wouldn't have been that careless. I don't see that happening. But whatever. It's not.
I do like at this point that he's really open about it. He says he goes right there and says, like, when Jamie makes the proposition, he says, I'll want you till the day I die. But,
love that. I know.
Like,
I was
very matter of factly. Like,
I was like, hey, you know what, Lord John, you can just get in line, all right? You think you're new to this? Get in line, right behind me.
That whole scene was great. The two of them are so home run with the casting of David Barry, you guys.
They must have had them go out and have a couple of pints together.
I mean, I don't know how they did those final tapings or whatever, casting tapings, but the two of them are just so great. They
just must have been like, you guys go get to know each other, because the two of them have such an amazing rapport.
Yeah. So hopefully we will see Lord John again sometime soon. But anyway, Willie shows up at the stables, and we get our whole stinking paper scene, which is so cute. Again, right out of the book. Tony Graffia, definitely, I think the first draft was like, okay, they're like, here's my first draft, and they're like, these are 40 pages of Voyager ripped out of the book. Yeah.
Which we love.
No, they're not. I wrote stage directions on them, see? The whole thing is cute. He baptizes little William. He gives him the name William James.
I know. Don't get me started. We know.
We started this video, and Carol's like, I was like, did you just rewatch it? She's like,
I just finished. And the whole plane taking off, and her closing the door on that and him closing the door on that part of his life. It just was too much for me. Jamie is Joe.
I'm not going to put a spoiler on this because it's not really a spoiler, but it's interesting that Jamie gives Willie a snake like the one his brother made for him and not a rosary, which is what I think he gave him in the book.
Stinking papist.
And he was like, you can't ever like let anybody see this, but like I almost like the significance of the snake more, especially because Willie, Jamie's brother, made it for him, and Jamie made it for Willie, his son. Oh! Okay. Then we get the very last sequence, which is set to a song.
Oh, the song killed me.
God damn you, production staff.
Yeah.
For not putting the name of that song in your bloody effing credits. Because unless,
it'll
that's
be on IMDb or something.
Unless that's like, friggin', Kat and Sam singing it and, they're contractually obligated to do it and not get credit for it. Like, who the F is singing that song? Because I need it. I need to download it on iTunes yesterday. Because it is so good. It is so good. That whole sequence with, goes back and forth from Claire. She's taking down the board of crazy. Then, Jamie. Then Bree. Then Jamie. Then Roger. Then the plane taking off with them. And then Jamie riding off. Knowing he will never see his son again. And that song in the background, that goddamn song. Roll credits. Anyway, that's it. That's
all she wrote.
1 to 10. What do you think? This was a really good episode.
That was a really good episode. But as you said, the past was better than the present, or the somewhat present.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Claire.
That was sort of almost filler.
I'm sorry,
and
Raj.
That's fine. That's fine. Claire doesn't always have to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
If it's not about Claire, it ain't there.
In this case,
not about Claire, and that's fine. I was more than happy to have a lot of Jamie.
Yeah.
I was. You know what? I was happy because I'm not gonna apologize. I'm a Jamie fan. I want Jamie in every episode. Mm-hmm. So for me, I love Claire, but I needed the little break we had from Claire.
Right, and I think after last week, we needed a nice big chunk of Jamie, too.
Yeah.
Well acted, well written, true to the book.
But think about this. Excuse me. Now we have McNabb, and we have Geneva, and yet we're like, Claire really isn't getting anything. Claire isn't getting a little something. But Jamie has now gotten hooked up not hooked up. I shouldn't use the term hooked up, but it's kind of interesting if you think about it that way because of the way they've done this whole Frank and Claire, had the open marriage and she really was married to her books. And
I didn't mind the kissing as much in this one either, I will say.
I didn't mind at all. He was trying to make a nice experience for her.
Right.
And he realized somewhere along the line that she's not awful.
Right.
He felt bad. He felt pity.
He felt bad for her. He did. Yeah. He did. I thought this was a great episode. I mean, this is a really great season. It's a really great season.
She was on Mercy Street, and this was a Mercy.
And with that, I think we drop our mics. And we leave the building, and we go home. Because can't top that.
You guys are more than happy that we're going to shut up now.
Okay. You guys, as always, we love your comments. Throw them on the blog, throw them on Facebook, throw them on YouTube, throw them on Twitter, throw them on everywhere.
Everywhere, because even if we're not able to, I still have to go back and finish the comments on myoutlanderpurgatory.com from episode 3, but even if we aren't able to get to them right away, all of you are reading each other. I love the conversation that's happening.
Yes, agreed.
I love people are responding to this one, but wait a minute, what about this? I love it. Keep it up.
Yep. All right, you guys, that's it for us. We will see you next week. Have a great week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.